Welcome to another video, ladies and gentlemen. If it is your first time here, make sure you hit that subscription button down below, you give this video a thumbs up, and you jump in the comments section, because I always like to say the conversation starts here but carries on down there. Now, in one of my recent Chosen lives, I was touching on this topic, with the Venom trailer now being out there and, you know, amongst us. I wanted to talk about the possibility. Right now, this isn't insider information, this isn't, you know, rumor or whatever, this is just a theory that I have. And it's intrinsically linked to separating Carnage from Venom. Now, we know for a fact that Venom isn't going anywhere. Sony is going to use him as their poster boy and Spider-Man vice versa. So we know down the line we'll probably get Toxin, we'll probably get Null, we'll probably get Anti-Venom, we'll get a variety of other symbiotes who are considerably more, if not as, more powerful than Venom and Carnage. So you need to give Carnage something that is emotionally compelling, that no matter how strong any opposition comes the way of Venom, Carnage is the one that damages him. And how exactly do you do that? You kill off Anne. Now let me explain. This is all going to be contingent on whether they need to use She-Venom. If they're going to use She-Venom again, then this probably won't happen. But as I've always said, the second act in your 3-act play is always the darkest for your hero, or villain, or whatever. It doesn't end well, it doesn't end on a happy note, it doesn't end on a good note, it ends very dark, and it ends very, you know, traumatic, because that's how you do a second act. Now, obviously, Venom's not going to be a trilogy, there's going to be probably multiple Venom movies, but you know what I'm trying to, you know, say with this. And one of the things that we were touching upon in the stream was, I feel like Carnage would do something along the lines of killing the boyfriend. The boyfriend dies in traditional Hollywood fashion. You know, the nice guy boyfriend dies sacrificing himself for, you know, his wife-to-be. And then they do a bait and switch. They kill him. You think Anne's safe. They kill her as well. How much guilt would Eddie and Venom feel if they have to sit there and watch as Carnage kills both of them? That would break Eddie and Venom, and this is why it leads straight into Spider-Man. We know for a fact that No Way Home is going to have something going for it, whether it's multiverse or whatever, but it's been touted that Ned could potentially meet an end. And if Ned meets an end, or if Ned gets seriously injured, or if something happens to Peter in that movie that breaks him, or it maybe happens after that. It depends on how No Way Home is executed. I mean, we know nothing about that movie. Can we get a trailer released already, for God's sake? Just to either debunk the rumors or prove some of them right, just so we have an idea of what we're getting ourselves in for. But essentially, I had it pegged. You kill off Anne, Venom and Eddie split, Venom goes out into the ether, he disappears. Peter's looking for revenge for something that happens to him. It links up perfectly. It links up perfectly right there and then for Venom and Peter to merge. And then you get Peter in the symbiote suit. Because I want it to feel as organic as possible. I don't just want a bit of Venom symbiote to go on Peter's suit. Oh, that's it, he's got the symbiote now. No, 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 no. They've already changed the origin of Venom, you know, what it you know, I mean, it's hard to accept Venom without Spider-Man, because they're so intrinsically linked. But I feel like this would be a very natural progression, where you could make Peter's Tom Holland's Spider-Man have a really dark twist. You throw the symbiote on him, and that's how you get it. And you don't have Venom speak to him. You have it just simply as the symbiote. Simply as the symbiote, black-suited Spider-Man. And the minute Venom tries to start, you know, maybe taking control of him, that's when Peter and him split, and then Venom goes back to Eddie. Something along those lines. But I think what could really be the Kickstarter for that is we see throughout the trailer that Venom, that's the shipping name, Venom and Eddie have tension. They're not getting along, they're not seeing eye to eye. It's pretty much two inhabitants in one body, they're fighting for control. Eddie's trying to live his life, and Venom's just being a pain in the ass. And, you know, Venom's trying to live his mission and live his truth, and Eddie's trying to make him a housewife. You know, it's a clash of personalities, which is something that I'm very glad that they did, because it would be too easy for them to just be like, yeah, we're cool, we're living with it, we're in the same body, yeah, we're cool. No, there needs to be conflict, there needs to be tension, and that feeds into what the second act is. Now, I've no doubt in my mind Carnage is going to live through this movie. If they kill Carnage, it's a waste. As I said in the stream yesterday, it's Spider-Man, Venom, and Carnage. Like, Toxin's cool, Null's cool, Anti-Venom's cool, Riot's okay, but only the comic book nerds like us know about them. The general audience, for the most part, they know about Spider-Man, they know about Venom, and a few of them know about Carnage. Maybe because of the animated series in the 90s. Amazing show. If you haven't seen it, go and check it out. But there is many reasons as to why those three are by far and above the best. And it lays the seeds perfectly for Peter and Eddie to go up against Carnage down the line. This is where you can have these two bond over something. Now, we were discussing the idea of Ned possibly meeting his death, and that's what really sets Peter over the edge. If Peter loses Ned and Eddie loses Anne, that is a moment where Venom and Eddie and Peter can all bond over someone they've lost that meant something so dear to them. And we all know this is going to happen. Venom and Spider-Man are going to have a fight. Eddie's going to go up against Peter. It's going to be a fight. But it's going to be a Batman versus Superman scenario. Hopefully it's not, why did you say that name? Hopefully it's not that. But essentially what it's going to be is as follows. Something along the lines of, I understand, Eddie, your loss. You've lost Anne, I've lost Ned. We have a common ground here. And then eventually they go and team up and whoop Carnage's ass. Because essentially Carnage, Venom can't come out of this with a win. He needs to come out of this with a loss. I mean, if this is going to lay the seeds like I think it will, I think Venom needs to come out of this film with a loss. He needs to come out of this film with a loss to make the win sweeter. Now, that brings into question, would I bring Carnage back for the third film? No, I would not. I would have Carnage literally disappear. I would have Shriek be the reason that Carnage escapes. Carnage escapes, Anne is dead, Venom and Eddie are at a crossroads, Venom and Eddie split. That lays the seed perfectly for Peter to get the symbiote suit in a very organic way, a very natural way. Unless Eddie bumps across Peter some way, somehow, and they find another way to do it. But that's just the way I think it could work naturally. Sony, get me in the writer's room. But essentially, if this movie has a happy ending to it, I'm going to be disappointed because they would have missed an opportunity. And with things like this would really serve an emotional reason to root for Venom and Eddie. Because right now, guys, if I'm being honest, we don't really have one. The first film, we rooted for them because, Eddie was a loser, Venom was a loser. Okay, they have a commonality there. They share a bond. But we don't have a reason to root for them. If you kill off Anne, you've made it personal between Carnage and Venom. Whenever Carnage is mentioned, we're rooting for Venom then. We're like, Venom, kick his ass. Like that, it makes it personal for us because we've seen Anne from the first film, and how even while Eddie was going crazy eating lobsters, she was helping him. That can serve some emotional weight, much needed emotional weight, rounding off with the second film, and then you carry it on into the future. And maybe the third film could be him dealing with someone like Toxin or whatever, and it could be Eddie processing what's happened and trying to deal with it and move on. And then you bring Carnage back for a future film where Peter and Venom, they team up and they're going to go and fight Carnage's ass. Like something like that. But you don't have Carnage be killed off. You have him escape. And what better way to set him up as the big bad by killing off the love of Eddie's life and disappearing. Like, I think it would be such a strong second film. It would give this film something to stand on beyond just Carnage candy. We're in for a treat at the moment. I mean, with Halloween Kills just around the corner, I've heard that film has more kills than most horror movies ever. And this is going to be kills galore as well. And I wouldn't be surprised. You'll see more Carnage in this film than you will Venom. But this could be part of the Maximum Carnage sort of story, the route they're going. But I really want them to go balls to the wall. Push the PG-13 to its limit. Because you can still get away with a lot at PG-13. For me, Disney and Marvel's version of PG-13 isn't even PG-13. It's PG. I mean, there are films that are rated PG and U from the 80s and the 90s or the 70s where they show blood. I mean, come on. You can push the PG-13 really far. Like, I don't think they'll go rated R. I would like them to, because with Venom, I gave them a pass. Carnage, as I said, people like Carnage, people like Punisher, people like Ghost Rider, there is no positive spin on them. They are dark characters. They have always been dark. There's a bit of humor in there, but not humor to the point of typical Marvel humor, if you know what I mean. There's not like a joke every 5 seconds. Punisher watched his family get shot in front of him. You know, Ghost Rider stares into people's souls and makes them feel all the pain that they've inflicted on other people. Carnage is a serial killer mixed with a symbiote that's a serial killer also. There's nothing positive about that. That's bad. That's dark. So they can't put a positive spin on this. And Carnage's humor is sadistic. I said in the live stream yesterday, how sadistic and horrible would it be if Anne and the boyfriend die? Carnage stabs both their bodies, he impales both of them, and he goes da 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 da, like he starts singing the wedding theme as he's swinging their bodies around while they're dead. Like that's what Carnage would do. That is something that is organic to his character. I would believe that he would do that. I would believe that. And if they do it, I mean, hell, it'll turn this thing into a damn horror movie, but that's what Carnage brings. That's the kind of character Carnage is. That's the kind of character Carnage has always been. And you just can't pull any punches. You can't. Not with Carnage. Carnage is no holds barred. I think if there's one Venom movie to have unlimited kills, it's this one. This one, you know, I didn't expect them to bring Carnage in so early. That was probably a choice I don't know if I would have done. Maybe I would have used some more symbiotes or something, but, you know, they're doing it. They're laying the foundation, and at least they got rid of that Ronald McDonald wig. But yeah, Carnage is 100% escaping, or something by the end of this movie. He goes out into the ether. Venom and Eddie's tension and conflict is only going to get worse, amplified by Anne's death. Or maybe it brings them closer together that, you know, they've lost her. You know, something like that. And again, this isn't confirmed. She might make it out of it fine. But I just feel like if there is one symbiote, or if there's one character who fights Venom that is the choice to kill Anne off, if I had to choose, if they're like, right, Anne's going to die, but what character will kill her off? It's got to be Carnage. It has to be Carnage. Because Carnage, while Venom and Carnage are not the most powerful symbiotes, you need to make it personal between these two. You need to really make it personal. And that's how I would personally do it. I mean, Jesus, could you imagine that? Like, it's literally... Because, think about this, the fight scene is literally in the church. The fight scene looks like it's actually in a church. So we're going to get Gwen Stacy 2.0. Like, it's going to happen. This is going to be Venom's Gwen Stacy moment. And that death was heartbreaking and it was sad because Peter almost saved her. It's going to be a similar thing, but this time it's going to be even worse. Like, I could imagine, like, Venom's down and out. He's on the floor. He's beaten up. And Carnage has enough ability to hold Venom down while killing others. That's how strong Carnage is. And I could honestly see him doing something like holding Venom down and making him watch. And maybe, you know, Eddie splits from Venom quickly just to go and try and save Anne, and he can't reach her. Something like that. I could see it really being, you know, an emotional tether for not just for Venom and but for us, the audience, you know, because then it makes us watch the first film with more appreciation for her character and what, you know, the bond between her and Eddie and the relationship that they shared, and knowing how it ends for her. That gives us so much emotional weight. That's the kind of gravity that you give this. But guys and girls, let me know what you think. Jump in the comment section down below. We march forward to 6k subs. If this is your first time here, then come on, as I said, hit that subscription button. Get down there. And yeah, conversation starts here, but carries on down there. Let me know you're hyped for Venom 2. And if you ain't seen the first one, go watch it. Check it out. Go watch it. Oh man, I could just imagine the scene being played out. It's gonna be a gut punch. It's gonna be a gut punch.